Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhate Girim Yat Kripatam Vande Shri Gurum Dintarinam Padmananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So today we will begin chapter 13 from the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrit. The chapter is titled The Ecstatic Dancing of the Lord at Ratha-yātrā. Summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his Amrit Pravaha Bhashya as follows. After bathing early in the morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deities Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra get aboard their three cars. This function is called Pandu Vijaya. At that time, King Prataprudra took a broom with a golden handle and began to cleanse the road. Lord Jagannath took permission from the goddess of fortune and then started in the car for the Gundicha temple. The road to the temple led along a broad sandy beach, and on both sides of the road were residential quarters, houses and gardens. Along that road, the servants called Gaudas began to pull the cars. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided his Sankirtan party into 7 divisions with 2 mridangas in each division. There were altogether 14 mridangas. While performing Kirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited various symptoms of transcendental ecstasy, and Jagannath and Baldev and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exchanged their feelings very blissfully. When the cars reached the place known as Balagandi, the devotees offered the deity simple food. At this time, in a nearby garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees took a brief rest from the dancing. So moving on to first verse. Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Shri Rathagre Nanarit Yah Yena Sij Jagatam Chitram Jagannatho Api Vismita. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, who danced in front of the car of Shri Jagannath, be all glorified by seeing his dancing. Not only as the whole universe held in wonder, but Lord Jagannath himself became very much astonished. Verse number 2. Jai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda, Jai Dvait Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to the devotees of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse number 3. Jai Shrota Gana Shuna Kari Ekamana Ratha-yātrāya Nritya Prabhura Parama Mohan. All glories to the listeners of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit. Please hear the description of the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Rath-yātrā festival. His dancing is very enchanting. Please hear of it with great attention. Verse number 4. Aradina Mahaprabhu Hena Savadhana Ratre Uthi Gane Sange Kaila Pratah Snan. The next day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associates got up in the dark and attentively took their early morning baths. Verse number 5. Pandu Vijaya Dekhi Bare Karila Gamana Jagannath Yatra Kaila Chadi Simhasana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associates then went to see the ceremony of Pandu Vijaya. During this ceremony, Lord Jagannath leaves his throne and gets up onto the car. Verse number 6. Apani Prataprudra Lena Patra Gana Mahaprabhura Gane Karaye Vijay Darshana. King Prataprudra in person as well as his entourage allowed the Pandu Vijaya ceremony to be seen by all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse number 7. Advaita Nitai Adi Sange Bhakta Gana Sukhe Mahaprabhu Dekhe Ishwara Gamana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his prominent devotees Advaitacharya, Nityananda Prabhu and others were very happy to observe how Lord Jagannath began the Rath-yātrā. Verse number 8. Balishta Daita Gana Yena Mattahati Jagannath Vijay Karaye Kari Hata Hati. The very strongly built Daitas, the carriers of the Jagannath deity, were as powerful as drunken elephants. They manually carried Lord Jagannath from the throne to the car, purport by His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word Daita refers to one who has received the mercy of Lord. Lord Jagannath has a number of stalwart servants known as Daitas. These servants do not come from very high caste families, that is the Brahman, Kshatriyas or Vaishyas, but because they are engaged in the service of the Lord, they have been elevated to a respected position. Thus they are known as Daitas. These servants of Lord Jagannath take care of the Lord from the day of the Ratha-yātrā up to the time the Lord is carried from the throne to the Rath car. In the Kshetra Mahatmya, these Daitas are said to come from the Shabaras, a caste that keeps and sells pigs. However, among the Daitas, there are also many who come from the Brahman caste. These Daitas coming from the Brahman families are called Daitapatis or leader of Daitas. The Daitapatis offer food such as sweetmeats to Lord Jagannath during the Anavasara, the resting period after the Ratha-yātrā. They also make the early morning offerings of sweetmeats daily. It is said that during the Anavasara, Lord Jagannath suffers from fever and that the Daitapatis offer him an infusion of drugs represented by fruit juice. It is said that in the beginning Lord Jagannath was worshipped by the Shabaras and was known as the deity Nila. Later then, when the deity was established in the temple, the Lord became known as Jagannath. Because the deities were taken from Shabaras, all the Shabara devotees were elevated from the position of the Daitas. Verse 9, Katak Daita Kare Skandha Atmal Alambana Katak Daita Dhare Shri Padma Charana. While carrying the deity of Lord Jagannath, some of the Daitas took hold of the shoulders of the Lord and some caught his lotus feet. Verse 10, Kati Tate Baddha Dridha Sthula Patta Dori Dui Dike Daita Gana Uthaya Taha Dhari. The Lord Jagannath deity was bound at the waist by a strong, thick rope made of silk. From two sides of the Daitas caught hold of the rope and raised the deity. Verse 11, Ucha Drida Tuli Sabapati Sthane Sthane Ek Tuli Haite Twaraye Ar Tulite Ane. Strong puffed up cotton pads called tulis were spread out from the throne to the car, and the heavy deity of Lord Jagannath was carried from one pillow-like pad to the next by the Daita. Verse number 13, Vishwambhar Jagannathe ke chalaite pare apana ichhaye chale karite vihare. Lord Jagannath is the maintainer of the whole universe who can carry him from one place to another. The Lord moves by his personal will just to perform his pastimes. Verse number 14. Mahaprabhu manima kare dhvani nana vadya kolahale kichui na suni. While the Lord was transported from the throne to the car, tumultuous sounds were made on various musical instruments. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting Manima, Manima, but he could not be heard. The word Manima is used to address a respectable person in Orissa. Lord Jagannath was being respectfully addressed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way. Verse 15, Tabe Pratap Rudra Kare Apne Sevana Suvarna Marjani Lena Kare Patha Samarjana. While the Lord was being carried from the throne to the car, King Prataprudra personally engaged in the Lord's service by cleansing the road with the broom that had golden handle. Verse number 16. Chandana jalate kare patha nishchane tuchcha seva kare vasi raj simhasane. The king sprinkled the road with sandalwood-scented water. Although he was the owner of the royal throne, he engaged in menial service for the sake of Lord Jagannath. Verse 17, Uttam hena raja kare tuchcha sevana ataiva jagannathera kripar bhajana. Although the king was the most exalted, respectable person, still he accepted menial service for the Lord. He therefore became a suitable candidate for receiving the Lord's mercy. Verse 18, Mahaprabhu sukha paila se seva dekhite, Mahaprabhura kripa haila se seva haite. Upon seeing the king engaged in such menial service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. Simply by rendering this service, the king received the mercy of the Lord. Purport: unless one receives the mercy of the Lord, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or engage in his devotional service. Athapi te deva padambuja dvaya prasada leshanugrihita evahi janati tattvam Bhagwan Mahimo Nachanya Eko Api Chiram Vichinvam. This is from Bhagavatam 10.14.29. A devotee who has received even a small fraction of the mercy of the Lord can understand him. Others may engage in theoretical speculation to understand the Lord, but they cannot know anything about him. Although Maharaj Prataprudra was not very eager to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the Lord refused to see him. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the king engaged in menial service for Lord Jagannath, he became very happy. Thus the king became eligible to receive Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. If a devotee accepts Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the universal Guru and Lord Jagannath as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, he is benefited by combined mercy of Krishna and Radha. Or rather Krishna and Guru. That is stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his instructions to Rupa Goswami in Madhya Lila 19.151. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The seed of devotional service fructifies and becomes a transcendental creeper. Finally, it reaches the lotus feet of the Lord in the spiritual sky. This seed is obtained by the mercy of the Lord and the Guru. By the Lord's mercy, one gets the association of a bona fide Guru, and by the mercy of the Guru, one gets a chance to render devotional service. Devotional service, the science of Bhakti Yoga, carries from one from this material world to the spiritual world. Verse 19. Rathera sajani dekhi loke chamatkar nav himamya ratha sumeru akar. Everyone was astonished to see the decorations of the Rath car. The car appeared to be newly made of gold, but it was as high as Mount Sumeru. Purport: in the year 1973, there was a gorgeous Ratha-yātrā festival in London, England, and the car was brought to Trafalgar Square. The London daily newspaper, The Guardian, published a front page photo caption: ISKCON Rath-yātrā is rival to the Nelson column in Trafalgar Square. The Nelson column is a very impressive statue of Lord Nelson and can be seen from a good distance, just as the residents of Puri compared the Ratha-yātrā car to Mount Sumeru. The residents of London considered the car rival to the Nelson monument. So we'll continue our reading from verse 20 onwards. Thank you for joining. Hare Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.